I think that everybody here can agree that Sonic R is the best racing game in the entire history of video games. Even Sega knows how insanely popular and well-received the game was, which is why they teased Team Sonic Racing with the Sonic R logo. Seriously though, to this day, I'm still confused as to why the heck they did this. Like, the game isn't even like Sonic R at all, besides the fact that it's a racing game. Anyways, today we aren't here to talk about TSR, we're here to just talk about Sonic R. And boy, Sonic R, it's a game. I mean, yeah, it's a racing game, but there's also like platforming and exploration elements. It's super weird how much the tracks branch off the main path. A lot of tracks have obstacles or water that you probably need to jump over to win the race. So I don't know why I did this long, complicated intro when you already read the title, but today we are here to figure out if you can beat Sonic R without jumping. Because the game is pretty short, not only are we going to be trying to get first place in every race, we are also going to be trying to collect every single Chaos Emerald and medal in the game. First, I'm going to race through all of the tracks and try and get all of the Chaos Emeralds, and then I'm going to go back and try and get all of the medals in the tracks. So I'll explain how medals work once we get to them, but first, let me explain how the Chaos Emeralds work. When you first boot up the game, you have 4 out of the 5 tracks unlocked. The first track, Resort Island, has 1 Chaos Emerald, and the other 3 all have 2 Chaos Emeralds each. To collect a Chaos Emerald, all you have to do is find it in the level and then finish in first place. Once you collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you unlock Super Sonic as a playable character and a Radiant Emerald in the final track. Radiant Emerald doesn't have any Chaos Emeralds or medals on it, so we shouldn't have to deal with it for this challenge. Alright, so let's kick off trying to get all of the Chaos Emeralds in Resort Island. As always, this level is pretty easy, even without jumping. There is a shortcut right here where you can go off to the left instead of following the main path to the right, which does help you save some time, but there's some water in the way, so normally you'd want to jump over, but we can't do that. This pathway is still faster even without jumping though, because we don't spend that much time in the water. The Chaos Emerald in this level is pretty easy. All you have to do is carry 50 rings to this ring gate and then walk through and pick up the Chaos Emerald. This boost pad in the middle of the track boosts you forward depending on how many rings you have, and then it takes those rings from you. If we're trying to save up our 50 rings to get the Chaos Emerald, we want to make sure that we don't hit this so it doesn't take all of our rings. And because most Chaos Emeralds in the game are locked behind ring gates, these boost pads are going to be an issue throughout most of the run because they are in every single level. But other than that, we can grab the Chaos Emerald, get first place, and move into the second track, Radical City. Radical City is the longest of these 4 starting tracks, and it has 2 Chaos Emeralds and a lot of branching pathways, so it's going to be a lot more difficult. But I already knew where all the Chaos Emeralds in this level were, so I was able to nab them and a first place pretty easily. The only part that's different from the normal game is this pathway here that you have to take on one of your laps to get the Chaos Emerald, but you still don't spend that much time in water, and it's not like it's a huge detriment. This level took me 2 or 3 tries, but after I beat it, we can move into the third track, Regal Ruin. Regal Ruin again has 2 Chaos Emeralds, and its layout is so confusing. Regal Ruin's layout is extremely complex. There are so many branching pathways. Luckily, I already knew where the Chaos Emeralds were, and so I could grab them pretty easily. Getting one of them is actually sort of difficult, though. You have to very carefully walk along this platform here and hope that you don't fall. It's a pretty narrow pathway, so it's pretty easy to fall off. Regal Ruin does have some water scattered about, which in case you haven't figured out yet, is our biggest enemy in this challenge. But like the other levels so far, the water in this level isn't anything that's gonna cause us major issues. But once again, after just a couple of tries, we can beat the level, get the Chaos Emeralds, and move into the 4th and final level for this challenge, Radical City. And it's fitting to be the final level because Reactive Factory is easily the hardest level for this challenge. This level has by far the most water, and even worse, you have to walk through a pretty big pool of it to get to one of the Chaos Emeralds. Both of the ring gates you need to use to unlock the Chaos Emeralds require pretty large amounts of rings, which means that we don't really get to use the boost pad in this level at all until the final lap, assuming we already have grabbed both of the emeralds. The emeralds are both pretty hidden and off track as well, so it takes a lot of extra time to go out of your way and get them. And even worse, after you activate the door, the emeralds take forever to come out of where they are. Like seriously, look how long this bouncing animation takes. If we could jump, we could just jump into it and keep going pretty easily, but we have to sit there and wait for it to land on top of us. And did I mention the water yet? Because there is a lot of that in this level. Walking through it slows us down pretty significantly, and it makes it a lot more difficult to get first place. All of these things might seem small, but added together, they make us lose a pretty decent amount of time in the end. And because of these things, this level took me quite a few tries to get through with both of the Chaos Emeralds and also getting first. first. But I kept trying, and eventually I did get first place with both emeralds in tow. And with that, we unlock Supersonic and Radiant Emerald and prove that it is possible to get all of the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic R without jumping. That was just sort of a warm-up challenge to what we're about to do, because now we have to get all of the medals in the game. In every single one of the stages except for Radiant Emerald, there are 5 medals hidden throughout the level. These are usually hidden behind ring doors like the Chaos Emeralds, or in just more obscure paths that take you longer to go through. If you collect all 5 medals and then finish the race in the top 3, then you will fight a new character, which will let you unlock them if you win the race. Unlike the Chaos Emeralds, we don't actually need to get first. All we need to do is get in the top 3, which is pretty easy. So it's going to be less a matter of my skill and more a matter of if they're even possible to reach. So to start, let's go back to Resort Island and try and get all the medals there. If you know where they are and you plan out which ones you're going to get on which laps, then you can get 4 out of 5 of the medals pretty easily. But there's a medal here right on top of the rock at the start that I thought you'd have to jump to get to. In the end, it turns out that you can just climb up this wall next to it, apparently. So we can grab all of the medals, finish in first, beat Metal Sonic with relative ease, unlock him, and move into the next level. Radical City's medal placement is definitely more complex than Resort Island's. Planning out which medals you're going to get on which lap and which path you're going to take on which lap beforehand is vital to making sure that you get all of the medals in this level in 3 laps. Other than that, this track is pretty much normal. You just have to make sure that you plan out ahead of time. So we can secure all of the medals, get in the top 3, beat Tails Doll, unlock him, and move into the next level, Regal Ruin. With enough planning, you can grab 4 of the 5 medals pretty easily, and I actually thought that at first, this 5th one would be impossible. Near the start of the track, there's a spring a little bit to the side that if you jump on, it springs you up into a medal and lets you continue with the race. But the only way to get on top of this spring is by jumping onto it, and you have to jump on the spring to get the medal. So at first, I thought this would be impossible because there's no way to activate the spring and then get the medal. But because I have 300 IQ, I actually figured out that you can just go up this ramp that the spring shoots you onto, and then fall off of that ramp into the medal instead of being bounced up into it. With that knowledge in hand and more careful management, we can get all 5 tokens, finish in the top 3, unlock Egg Robo, and move into the final level. And once again, this is the most problematic level in the game. I thought that the Chaos Emeralds were an inconvenience to grab, but man, just look at this one medal and how much water and stuff you have to go through to get it. Ugh. The medals in this level are on pretty obscure offshoots of the track that take much longer to get through. Even more so than the other levels, you have to really carefully plan out which medals you're going to grab on which lap and make sure that you get them all efficiently. This level did definitely take me the most tries to get all of the medals on and finish in the top 3, but after doing that, we do get to fight Metal Knuckles. And dude, Metal Knuckles is so fast. I actually ended up losing to him, and then I had to try and get all of the medals again. Except this time, I compromised my handling by picking Supersonic, who is also extremely fast. After getting all of the medals again, we can take out Metal Knuckles in a race as Supersonic. Now that we have every track, character, medal, and Chaos Emerald in the game, we can take a victory lap around Radiant Emerald as Supersonic and confirm that it is possible to 100% Sonic R without jumping. Honestly, the whole no jumping thing didn't change the game as much as I thought it would, except for in Reactive Factory and some spots in the other levels. It certainly made the game more challenging, but not too much more challenging, if you know what I mean. Nonetheless, I'm really glad that I was able to 100% the game under this restriction. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and it's only one button press on your part. And make sure to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of every time I upload a new video like this one. I decided to upload this video around the time that Team Sonic Racing is coming out, so if it's out right now, then make sure that you let me know how you enjoy the game in the comments. I'm curious what other people think. Also in the comments, make sure to let me know what challenges and Sonic games you would like to see me do in the future. I think I already have the next one picked out, but I love your guys' suggestions. And with that, I would like to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ha! You freaking idiot! You thought you could get through a Sonic R video without me talking about the music? This is the worst decision I've ever made. Come on, run away. You don't have to stay. We're nearly out of time. But you're doing fine. So stay on track. And don't look back. Just feel the pace. Come on now, race, 'cause everybody's supersonic racing. Try to keep your feet right on the ground when you're supersonic racing. There's no time to look around. We're just supersonic racing, running to the point of no return. Everybody's supersonic racing. Come on, let the fire burn.